What's up, Tiger fans? It's Morgan, Big Al, and Houston back to talk about Jackson Carman getting drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals in this year's NFL draft. Hey, before we get into this pick, we want to make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay up to date to all of our exclusive Clemson content we put out every single week. All right, guys. We're talking about Jackson Carman going to Cincinnati, going back home to the state of Ohio. You know, he spent the past couple of years down here in God's country in Clemson playing for the Tigers, being the left tackle, protecting the number one overall draft pick. Seems like nobody really talks about Jackson Carman, even though he had a very, very prestigious role for the Clemson Tigers, protecting, again, the number one overall draft pick and arguably the best quarterback in college football the past couple of years, but taken 46th overall by the Bengals, 6'4", 317 pounds. We know him all too well. Obviously dropped a little bit into the second round. Not a first round guy, but I think he will do well at Cincinnati. Obviously, Cincinnati, even he joked, I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, but even Carman joked a couple of years ago about how bad the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line was. So now he's going to be tasked with actually improving it himself. We know that Clemson had struggles with blocking for the run. So that's the first thing. There is tape of some struggles there for the Tigers, but Jackson Carman, no one can deny his elite pass blocking ability. It's there for sure. So, Al, we'll start with you. What do you think about Jackson Carman to Cincinnati?
Well, it's nice for him to go back home for sure. I mean, look, that was a nice recruitment for Clemson to win. It's one they don't win often. Stealing somebody out from Ohio State's nose, nobody thought that's something we could pull off. It may be one of the biggest upsets in Clemson recruiting history to go right up there with the Justin Ross from Alabama, that kind of thing. So it was really nice to have him down here for 3 years. He did a great job. I think his last year, I believe I read somewhere that maybe he was injured for some of that year. He kind of played through it, and so maybe that kind of had to do with the fact that he wasn't quite as elite as everybody thought he was going to be his junior season. But hey, he still did a great job. Like you said, pass protection was never an issue. It was all about the run blocking, and I think he'll have to kind of refine that technique when he goes into the pros, and that's fine. It was nice to see him go in the middle of the second round. I think it's good for Clemson look as far as recruiting wise. They don't have a lot of offensive linemen go. That's an area they've struggled in. The fact that you've got a guy going in the middle of the second round, that's going to be good for Clemson and pay dividends in the future on the recruiting trail.
Yeah, I was going to repeat the same thing first and foremost of Clemson recruiting. We have not had, Clemson as a team has not had a ton of offensive linemen taken in the second round, at least. We at least in my lifetime, I don't believe I've seen a first round offensive lineman taken from Clemson. Second round might be the highest that Clemson's had. So this is a big deal, especially with the talent that Clemson has in the pipeline. I think that's a big deal to attract more of this. And for Jackson Carman himself, hey, it's an awesome story to see him go back to his home. I think the Bengals was his kind of like hometown team. So to see him play for his hometown team is great, and be able to protect Joe Burrow, play with T. Higgins, and see what the Bengals can do in 2021.
Yeah, I'm seeing people say that they don't believe he's going to develop into a left tackle per se, and that's not uncommon. I mean, you got to be very, very high level. And Clemson, like you said, Al, has been doing better in recruiting offensive linemen, but there's still a little bit of a gap there. I think what you guys would agree. Even when you look at like the Mitch Hyatts and the Jackson Carmans of the world, they were 5-star guys, but weren't those kind of like first night draft pick guys at the end of the day. So, there is definitely some recruiting improvement that we'd like to see from Clemson, in general. But Jackson Carman, obviously a great overall guy, great pass blocker. I think he'll end up being a great interior offensive lineman on either one of the guard positions. And some say that he could develop into maybe a right tackle position, but I think he can definitely, work into that position. He won't have to do so immediately. Maybe he more than likely will start out as a backup. and work his way in, but I think it will be good for the Bengals overall because, again, they've got to protect Joe Burrow. He cannot – his life depends on it. So Carman goes there. He's going to have to step up and show up so that he can improve the rest of his team and get that ball out so that he can get into playmakers like T. Higgins. Hey, let us know what you think in the comments. Do you agree? Do you think that Jackson Carman is a good fit in Cincinnati, or do you think he should have went somewhere else, or maybe Cincinnati should have picked someone else? This video is brought to you by Heating Cooling Services, Inc., family owned and operated, serving Anderson County and surrounding areas since 1980. Heating Cooling Services, Inc. is your residential and commercial comfort expert. Anything from preventative maintenance to your home HVAC system to overhauling a commercial chiller and everything in between. If you want to breathe easier and be nice and cool in your home or business this summer, give Heating Cooling Services, Inc. a call today. Give Mark or Jason Tremmel a call at 864-224-7655. Again, 864-224-7655. They'll take good care of you.